I'd like everybody to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, and then if you could just remain standing. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On a Tuesday morning 19 years ago, the skies were unbelievably blue in the promise of a beautiful sunny day. At 8:46 a.m., all that changed as the United States experienced the first of 4 coordinated terrorist attacks on U.S. soil. The attacks resulted in 2,977 fatalities, over 25,000 injuries, and many substantial long-term health consequences. 9/11 is still considered the single deadliest terrorist attack in human history and the single deadliest incident for firefighters and law enforcement officers in the history of the United States. Friday is the anniversary of the 9/11 attacks, when traditionally we take a moment out of our day to remember those we lost. This year, in light of COVID-19, many ceremonies have been canceled. So instead, tonight, I would like to take a moment to say a prayer and remember all those Americans who lost their lives to this cowardly attack on our country. Thank you. Eileen, can I get a roll call?
Mr. Cook?
Here.
Mr. D'Andriano?
Here.
Mr. Rogan?
Here.
Ms. Smith?
Here.
Mr. Williams?
Here. Somebody like to make a motion on the reports?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the code compliance report for August, code enforcement for August, law control officer for August, ECI for July, August, and September, Putnam Lake Fire Department for January through June, and the Patterson Recreation for August. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Could I get a motion on the supervisor's report?
Make a motion to approve the supervisor's report for July. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Could I get a motion on the minutes?
I'd like to approve the town board meeting minutes of August 12th, 2020. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Someone like to audit the bills?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to approve abstract number 16 dated August 28th, 2020, in the amount of $75,905.47. So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
And I believe we have 2 budget transfers tonight.
We do. First, we have budget transfer number 15. Is necessary to allocate additional funds to the central data processing contractual account for additional costs of the network backup. So move $2,500 from the contingency account to the central data processing contractual expense account. And then we have budget request number 16, which is necessary to reallocate funds to the general repairs contractual account for additional drainage costs per the attached request from the highway department. So we're moving $10,000 from machinery contractual fuel usage expense account to general repairs contractual expense account. I'll make a motion that the town board approve budget transfer request number 15 and 16. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Charles, you're up.
First, we have tonight 2 requests from our recreation director. One is to add a new online program called Chess Wizards. It's an online chess classes for children in kindergarten and grades 1 through 6. The Chess Wizards program helps children improve decision-making, strategic thinking, and their emotional development. I know some adults could use this. Each child is challenged by fun games and lessons from the real wizard teachers. The program is a split program. Will oversee it, but the folks from Chess Wizards will teach the program. So I'll make a motion that the town board approve this online Chess Wizards program as outlined in the September 2nd memo from our recreation director. So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Next, we have again from our recreation director, price scheduling for fall 2020 program. And the programs that hopefully we can get good registrations for involve Little Chefs, Arts and Crafts, Fun with Science, Pizza Night, soccer, tag sale, flag football, Chess Wizards, and the pre-K program. So I will make a motion that the town board approve these programs along with the fees outlined in the director's memo of September 4th, 2020. So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Sean?
Okay, first item that we'd like to talk about is related to the Putt Lake Fire Department contracts. There is an issue that I'd like to request to be discussed in executive session, and it relates to some documentation for the 2% fund and how that relates to their contractual obligations. So with the supervisor's approval, I'd like to move that to executive session for discussion with the board. And the second item, we spoke about, I'm not sure if it was last meeting.
It was last
meeting. Time goes by so fast. And it was a letter of resignation from our environmental park caretaker. It was relating to an issue with unemployment benefit, and we were tabling that for discussion with our council and comptroller. So I'll also like to move that to executive session for discussion and hopefully a resolution to that issue. So again, both those items for executive session. So that's it.
Okay. So I am pleased to present the town board with a tentative budget for 2021 tonight. Once again, I would like to recognize Patricia Brooks, town controller, for all the hard work that she puts in preparing the tentative budget. And this year, the budget has been no easy task. Revenues are stagnant and expenses are ever increasing. Trying to find that balance between increasing services, yet not increasing the tax burden on our residents is challenging. I would also like to thank many of the department heads, and especially my thanks go out to the Patterson Fire Department for submitting an incredibly responsible budget in consideration of the times that we are facing. This year's tentative budget proposes a 2.51% increase in the overall budget. Please take note that the general fund, highway, and most of the special districts are well under the proposed increase in spending. What is driving the increase in the overall town budget is the Putnam Lake Sanitation District, whose contract for garbage and recycling collection is up in February. We anticipate seeing a significant increase in the cost for the Putnam Lake Refuse District. Accounting for prior year's tax credits, the budget increase is actually 1.56%, keeping the town compliant with the New York State tax cap requirements. Few notes on the budget. Last year, the town requested NYSEG change out all the street lights to LED lights, which has been very successfully completed. As a result, we have seen a 36% reduction in the cost of our street lights, which is reflected in this budget. Last year, the town board adopted a 3-year salary schedule, adjusting our employees' salaries through 2022. In spite of the COVID-19 pandemic, the tentative budget includes the salary increase for year 2 that last year was promised to our employees. The tentative budget also reflects 26.1 payrolls for this year. If you recall, approximately every 10 years, the town experiences a year with 27 payrolls, which results in a very large spike in expenditures for the budget that year. To smooth out the curve, the town board agreed last year, moving forward, to budget for 26.1 payrolls each year. There are currently no new positions proposed. However, the tentative budget does propose a substantial increase in the number of hours for our fire inspector. There is also a significant increase in central data to account for the enhanced internet and computer security and offsite backups. This year, 2020 tentative budget including the salary adjustments, continues to remain within the guidelines established for the tax cap, so our residents will continue to receive their property tax relief if the state chooses to continue the program. As we move forward towards developing a preliminary budget, the town board has some challenges. To date, budget requests have not been submitted by the Justice Court, by either Park District, or the Putnam Lake Fire Department. As a result, no increase in expenditures has been proposed for these areas of the budget. Once again, I look forward to discussions with the town board on developing a responsible budget for the 2021 year. And I believe everybody is aware of the budget calendar.
Yes, I have one comment to make, Mr. Supervisor. If we could change the timing of that for a couple of our colleagues from 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock.
Well, I was just about to bring up, is everybody comfortable with that?
You don't
So
have to.
which colleagues would Charlie's colleagues like to change that time?
I said our colleagues.
I'm fine with that.
Whatever works for the majority is fine.
Whatever works for everybody.
Yeah.
So we're now going from 4 to 8.
4 to 6.
Oh, 4 to 6. That was a little fun. And everybody's good with the dates? Everybody remembers the dates?
Yeah.
It's in our folder.
Okay. Okay, I would like to apprise the board of a conversation I had with New York State Department of Environmental Conservation and the Westchester Land Trust. I believe I had talked a little bit to board members about this previously, but I did have a conference call with all the parties involved in this. DEC is looking at the possible acquisition in the town of Patterson of 2 parcels. One of the parcels is a commercial piece down on Route 22. They were looking for the property owner is actually looking to donate that property in exchange for beneficial tax credits that he could use. And they were involving the Westchester County Land Trust. I expressed our extreme displeasure about taking that piece off the tax rolls. They were looking to accommodate us any way we could. The conversation after that became very positive in that they were very interested in working with the town to perhaps preserve the commercial area that was suitable for development and acquire the unsuitable areas, which, you know, are wet and not forested and not good for anything. The sense I got from the Westchester County Land Trust is that they were very happy to be not involved in the deal. What I proposed to them, and you know, I've had a preliminary conversation with our attorney about this, is it possible for the town to acquire the property, do a lot line adjustment with the DEC so the DEC gets the property that they are most seeking, the town keep the remainder commercial piece of property, which we would then give, donate, sell, whatever, you know, possible avenue we could do to see it develop for commercial development. And I characterized it that way because if there is to be a beneficial tax credit to the property owner making the donation, the town may also need to not have any profit in that. But at the same time, there may be a potential in there that the town could take it, either purchase it or do something and work out a deal so the property owner gets what he wants and the town gets what we want, which is, you know, the potential for developing that site commercially. The second, go ahead.
Do we get any money from DEC for that back piece?
Would we?
You mean in
Do we-
taxable
Well,
assessment?
it's owned privately, so no, we don't. But other lands owned by DEC in the town, we do receive taxes on.
Okay.
But it's a program that the state volunteers for, right? And so they put it in the budget. But at some point, if the state ends up in financial difficulties and needs to start cutting, I'm very nervous about the state at some point coming back and saying, geez, we're holding these lands for public use. Why are we paying everybody's taxes? And that is probably going to, happen when the state runs into financial difficulty as they are right now, or enough other counties petition the state, you're paying Putnam, you're paying Sullivan, you're paying some others, why aren't you paying us? So as to increase the burden on the state, where the state says, hey, wait, whoa, we're just not going to pay taxes. In which case, we're going to have quite a bit of land that we're not getting any real property taxes for, which means our residents are going to have to pick that cost up. So the second parcel was Little Pond. Little Pond is a very unique ecological area. I would agree that perhaps that the DEC should acquire at least the undeveloped areas over there because they are ecologically sensitive. But again, they were not relishing the idea of taking the cabins and the houses that were over there. And they were looking to do some sort of lot line adjustment to break off the developed areas and keep them separate. They were less optimistic about getting this piece because they said they were having a lot of trouble with the property owner about negotiating a deal. I also informed them about the ongoing beaver problem out there that they would inherit. So they are fully aware of that. So, I just want to throw it out real quick to the board members. If the DEC and the property owner on the Route 22 piece are willing to work out some sort of deal with the town where the town would, acquire that parcel in exchange for tax credits, and our attorney says that it's possible to do, is that something you'd be interested in pursuing?
I was supportive of it when we first brought up the idea, so absolutely, 100%.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
When I hear back from the DEC and or the property owner, I'll report back.
Thank you.
Okay. The last item on my agenda is executive session. We need to talk about a notice of claim that we received. Mary.
You all done? Okay, I can't see. Okay, so we have records retention schedule. I have in front of me a resolution in regards to the state archives. They have revised and consolidated its local government records retention and disposition schedules and issued a single comprehensive retention schedule for all types of local governments. The new schedule is replacing the previous schedules that we have had, and the town board and the town of Patterson wishes to use the retention and disposition schedule for New York local government records entitled LGS-1 for the management of the town's records. So I'd like to make a motion to approve and adopt the resolution for the adoption and use of retention and disposition schedule LGS-1 and enter this into the record as read. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And that's all I have.
Peter.
Bill? All right, first item I have is about the town planner. So I have a memo here. As you know, a few meetings back, we started our search for a new town planner for the town. I have a memo here from the town supervisor. As a result of the advertisement, we received 48 resumes. So I want to thank the supervisor for going through those sifting through those resumes. I can imagine the task about that, but who better to the current planner to look through them and find the most qualified people. So supervisor picked out the 4 of his picks, of his top picks. So we have to decide now where we're going to go with this. Do we want to start some interviews? Do we want to take those 4 that he picked out, start with those 4? When would we want to interview? Would want to attach the interviews maybe to some of the later work sessions, or if we don't, the budget sessions, maybe we can kind of fit them in since we're meeting. I know maybe the first couple might not be the best, but maybe towards the end, some of the work sessions we have scheduled. Will we have 4?
Well, that begs the question about what we're going to do at the work sessions, and are we going to be meeting with department heads? Because as you know, if we're going to meet with all the department heads and the fire departments, and, that does take up quite a bit of time. Last year we ran out.
So I think, we just went through a round, of interviews already, and we have some budget sessions to go through. So, maybe we can kind of push this back a little to the end of September, see where we're at with time, and maybe start to figure out when we can schedule some interviews or where we want to go for that.
Yeah.
In the meantime, he also, so if you want, supervisor will provide the 48 resumes if you want to look through them. I think I looked through the top 4 that he gave us. They look pretty good.
I think we've got at least 2 that I've had a little bit of interaction with. 2 really good candidates, that show a lot of potential.
So I think I look forward to meeting them maybe towards the end of the month or even early October to see where we're at with time.
Well, you all let me know when you're ready to schedule interviews. I can tell you the interviews we just did were about 15 minutes each, and
We need an hour.
and
for
they
each one.
Yeah.
this one is going to take
Yeah,
a
no.
lot longer.
This is clearly a different level of, we're gonna need more time.
Correct.
It's a department head management position. So
Critically important position to the town of Patterson, so
Well, we also have
take our due diligence.
4 young individuals who are looking to, they didn't go to school really for what we're proposing here, but there really isn't a school for what we do here. And so we really got to flesh out, are they going to be qualified? Are they going to have an interest in expanding, what their career path currently is?
yeah, I don't think I think it's very difficult. We did lay out kind of the qualifications. I think it's very difficult to find someone that is going to check all those boxes. Someone looking to start off in a new career. I don't think we're going to be able to take a 20-year experienced town planner from another town. So I guess it's a difficult balance for that. But so we'll deal with that towards the end of the month.
Okay.
That's great.
All right, next item I have. So I wasn't part of them. I was actually away last week, but the judges and some of the town board members did interview a number of town candidates for our town clerk position. So I think we came to a conclusion of who we want to hire. It's someone that was kind of the judges' top picks and our top pick, and so I think it's a good fit. So I want to make a motion. We do have a resolution here requesting to hire Amy Light. Is that how you pronounce her last name?
I believe so.
At the annual rate of $39,000. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution as read and enter it into the record. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I also would like to add a couple items to my agenda since I'm at the end here.
Go ahead, you're up.
The first one, a couple of meetings, a while back, we had approved the resolution to enter an agreement with the company for the utility financial recovery. They were going to look at our utility bills and see if they can get us back some money. It took a while because we had to revise the contract because they told us maybe at first we were just going to try a couple of utility bills, and they were saying, well, you really need to kind of look at the whole picture to get a better deal about it. So I was just wondering where we're at with that.
To be honest with you, I don't know. I passed it off to Trish. I will check with her in the morning and let you know.
Great, thank you. The next item I have, I've gotten a lot of feedback, a lot of complaints about Peckham blasting. Not necessarily people dissatisfied with the blasting, but just kind of the unknown. I think it's because of the COVID. People are home more, and they're not usually home on Tuesday afternoons or mornings, and feel that blast that shakes the whole house. I know. Actually, I still hear it. Actually, today, is it today or yesterday? It blasted. You probably feel
Tuesday,
it.
it happens on
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah. Even yesterday, it kind of took me off guard, and I knew it was coming. But some days are worse than others. But so some people have requested if there was any kind of notification system or any way we can kind of have a schedule of when they blast, or anything to kind of give people the heads up that they're going to be blasting.
So, I'm not aware of any. I know I've had the conversation with our building inspector. And let me back up a little bit. So what is going on is typically Peckhams have been mining in a defined area. They are now starting to blast out the west face of the mine hole that they've created. So they're actually blasting in another area, and the blast shocks are substantially larger. They gave me the documentation before they started doing this, showing that they are still within that mine zone. I don't know that that's true, but they did gave me a surveyed map showing where they were going to be blasting. And we can, I can share it with everybody, and we can take another look at this. But so to your question, I've also heard this. I asked Bob to reach out because one of the people that was most concerned about this was our building inspector's wife, who lit him up. And
She hit me up as well.
oh, did she? Yeah, and I have not heard back from Bob. He was gonna call them.
Have you seen him lately?
I'll follow up with Bob to see if there was a miscommunication, and he thought I was calling.
But she does have a good point.
She does have a
Yeah.
good point. Now, that being said, they notify the building department generally when they're going to blast. So if you'd like, I can make sure that the building department shoots you an email if you can get it up, because you run 2 or 3 different Facebook accounts, and we can get it out that way. Other than that,
Yeah.
I don't know how to get it out unless we set up a special email account. Everybody registers.
Yeah.
Unless somebody's got a better idea.
I didn't really have any better ideas. That's why I wanted to bring it up. I think we could reach a lot of people on social media, but there's a lot of people that aren't on social media that we won't reach.
Well, I like your email idea. If people knew that they could register for a notification system, do a blast email where everybody's an ECC, so you don't get everybody else's email addresses. Real simple.
All right.
But it requires somebody, maybe somebody from the building office, when they know, they can just bang it, right out. It takes a couple seconds,
All right, so let's work on, we'll work on the email idea. Ms. Brown handles the shotgun emails, so I'll work with her on that.
Great.
Let's see if we can get an email change.
Good.
Okay.
All right. And then my third is I'll defer to the executive session, has to do with personnel
Okay.
with EMS.
Okay.
Just one very quick thing. The other, maybe 2 days ago, I bumped into Brian Callahan, who serves on our Veterans Park Advisory Board, and just spoke with him briefly about, it's the end of the summer, wrapping up with the lifeguards and the difficulties and the challenges that they faced this year. And Brian could not say enough great things about the wonderful lifeguards that we had employed by the town of Patterson this year, not only doing the typical lifeguard duties, but now dealing with all of the concerns from, quite honestly, members of our community who were less than patient with some of the rules and restrictions that they needed to comply with this year. He said that the guards handled themselves maturely, professionally, and he felt it was the best group of guards that we've had in many years. And so wanted to just echo that, because we heard lots of good feedback from really difficult situations that the guards handled really well. So thank you not only to the Veterans Park and the Putt Lake Park Advisory Boards for their work, but also for a great group of guards this summer in a very difficult and challenging season. So thank you for all of those people.
And I think if we look back 2 years ago, we had issues with retaining lifeguards and scheduling and all that. And I think the program that was put in place last year, the meeting this year with the rec center and Rich, I think that really made a difference of not, I don't want to take away from their great work too, but I think that putting the program in place and running it and then just retaining some really good guards, I think that was good.
Yes.
And
And
I
if,
could just piggyback on that a little bit. With the pavilion rental at Veterans Park, that went off okay, right? I mean,
so far, there's been no problem with those people using the pavilion.
okay.
Yes.
Because some of them had larger number and they had to reduce them or had to postpone it. And
Yep.
We're still keeping it, well, not that there's probably not too many more rentals, but we're still keeping it at the 50 person.
Yes.
capacity.
The schedule just calls for one more this Saturday unless there's a more added.
Sure. I tell you, I had a personal party there in August, and the lifeguards were great. They were checking in all our guests. So if there was an outbreak, they would be able to trace everybody. They did a great job with monitoring it and everything.
Ties in insurance.
Yeah.
And back to the lifeguards real quick. Cassidy, if you're listening, God, do I miss you. So,
Yeah.
all right.
Come back.
Yes, please. I have one more thing. Putnam Heroes Memorial. Putnam County's annual September 11th Candlelight Vigil will be held on Friday, September 11th, 2020, at the Putnam Heroes Memorial located at Cornerstone Park, Carmel. With an abundance of caution due to COVID-19 pandemic and its potential health hazards, the Putnam Heroes Memorial Committee has decided to live stream this year's ceremony on the internet. The ceremony will start at 8 p.m. Cornerstone Park will be closed and only be open to those involved in the actual ceremony and its production. It is estimated that Cornerstone Park will be closed from 6 p.m. until the conclusion of the ceremony. This year, we will be adding one name to the memorial, Commissioner Robert McMahon, Putnam County Bureau of Emergency Services. We will also be dedicating a tree that has a seedling from the World Trade Center survivor tree to the healthcare workers, emergencies, and essential services, and the volunteers who fought and kept us safe, healthy, safe, and sustained during this pandemic. St. James the Apostle Church will be having a September 11th Mass of Remembrance at 7 p.m. The Mass will also be live streamed with no congregates at the service. The site for the September Candlelight Vigil is www.putnamcountynewyork.com/9/11 Candlelight Vigil. The site for the Mass of Remembrance is YouTube St. James the Apostle Church, Carmel, New York. It is recommended that you sign into the sites prior to the start. In the event of any technical difficulties, the ceremony will be available for viewing on www.putnamcountynewyork.com/9/11 Candlelight Vigil after the service. It is encouraged that you watch the Mass and/or the Candlelight Vigil for the safety of your home. You need this up, Paul?
You know if the Patterson Fire Department is doing their annual 9/11
I
ceremony?
sent a couple of emails and got no response, so I believe not. It's a tough year for everybody.
Yeah.
With that, I'll open it up to public recognition. Does any member of the audience wish to ask any questions?
You can leave it off.
Okay, is that good? Well, I'm sure you knew I was going to, because I did send you a message. Really, two things. I'd like to just get a sense of where we are with the septic cleanout program and where we are with the cell tower.
All right, so for the septic maintenance program, we have an up-to-date database, which we are currently maintaining. We found when we put the database together that there were a few septic haulers not submitting the slips to the town. We contacted them and explained to them that they need to do that, and they have started to comply. There are approximately 3,320 individual septic systems in the town of Patterson. We have a 55% compliance rate. That means that 1,827 individuals have submitted, or somebody has submitted a form for them. There are 1,493 individuals that we do not have any record that a pump out has occurred. That's 45%. To date, with everything that has gone on this year, we have not mailed out any notices of violations. However, we did modify some procedures, and we are using title searches to confirm or verify that the septics have been pumped out. And that has been interesting in and of itself, because many of the title searches that come in, we do not have any septic pump out tickets. When we flag that as a potential violation, the property owners promptly bring in the certificates that have never been filed with anybody.
Wow.
So,
I'm aware of that. As a matter of fact, the town of Southeast started that about, I think, 2 or 3 years ago, because they really didn't have a database. That's the only way they were actually doing it in the town of Southeast.
Yeah.
I'm sure now they have a database. But there's still about 1,000. One would hope that, I'm not so interested in seeing notices of violations go out, like I have spoken to in the past, because everybody's been slow with this program. That letters should go out to those homeowners, basically giving them, I don't know, 60, 90 days to comply. Either send the notice in that they've done it, and then if you don't hear from them after the 90 days, then start considering notices of violation.
sure.
I mean, we're 7 years into the program. When I checked with the health department, I was told that I have done it twice. That health department employee had done theirs twice. So I'm sure some of those numbers that you've given would include me, who's done it twice. So the actual, I don't know, there may be people who got it done 6 and 7 years ago and haven't had it done again.
Yep.
So I'm just hoping at some point we send those letters out. I think it'd be fruitful.
We will. Unfortunately, we had a couple of small things come up this year, which ended up reducing our staff for about 4
Well, I'm
months.
well aware of it, but I also know we had staff people that were home getting paid, and I don't know if we still have staff home getting paid, but I know there's a lot of companies where people are working from home. Recently, I had my windshield was broken, and the woman I dealt with from Arrow was calling from home, and they're working from home. So I think those things can be done. The next thing is the status of the cell tower. Have they started paying a rent?
The status of the cell tower has not changed. There's a nominal fee that they do pay, but really the trigger for them to start paying a monthly rent has to do with them getting a carrier up on that tower. They have not gotten a carrier up on that tower as of yet.
Well, if I remember the discussion, several things were said that after a certain period of time, they were going to have to start paying whether they got somebody on the tower. And even one council person said, after a certain period of time, I wanted in the contract that if they don't, that they'll have to take the cell tower down. It's nice to be benevolent, but you have a fiduciary responsibility. The reality is this: if they had put it on their property, they would have had to pay for the cell tower. So instead, they got us to put it on town property, and Metro North is paying nothing. I just don't think that the people at town of Patterson should be subsidizing Metro North. That's all that I'm suggesting. And I would hope, I guess I'll have to foil for the actual contract that you have with them, just to see,
Sure.
Are they supposed to be paying now? I mean, to think that it could sit there 5-10 years and the town gets no revenue, that's ridiculous. Thank you.
I'd like to comment on the septic. I actually had mine done last week. I get it done religiously every 2 years. That's what the gentleman that owned the company recommended, so I stick by that. I don't want to have any troubles. And probably more so now, people need to do it because they are staying home, working from home, so they're probably filling up quickly. But this time I said, let me make sure that I get something or that he lets the county know that I had done this. And I asked him, didn't actually talk to him because he left me a message, kind of play phone tag, and then we started texting. So I had texted to him, is there a document? Are you going to file this with the county? Don't worry, I'll take care of it. So I was at work when it was done, but he did leave me a letter, 8.5 by 11 sheet that it was taken care of. So, I've been busy. I didn't really thoroughly look at it and see if it's my responsibility now to
No,
provide this to the
No.
town or the
Theirs.
county.
It's the septic
But it's the
pumper's
first time-
responsibility.
I'm here for 30 years. It is the first time I've actually gotten that piece of paper.
Interesting.
Now, that hauler may have submitted to both the town and the county in the past.
Maybe, yeah, it's possible.
There is a person, oh no, that person's going on vacation, so you can't call that person.
So they only have to send them in once a month, so we can.
They only send them in
check
once a
for
month,
you.
yes. Well, I guess the third thing, here's a perfect example of the third thing. The last tax bill, I received the lovely instructions from Mary, and I noticed on the back of it, there was nothing written on the back. And I think it's a lost opportunity. Now, I realize that was a rush. Here's another perfect example of getting some messages out. The town's doing a lot of great things. This is a good way of getting the message out. So I would hope that the next bill that goes out, which will go out, Mary, when are you going to send me my next bill? In January? Mary's going to be sending me a bill in January. Maybe I can get a letter that will have some other things about the town. Maybe a reminder that, hey, Bruce, it's time to get your septic cleaned again. Thank you.
So to that point, first, this was the school bill that went out. It wasn't the town tax bill.
Right.
So, we're limited as to what we can do with that. We actually, and there's a provision in the law that says we can put certain things in a tax bill, but only certain things. And there's a section of the law, tax 1826, that says actually we can't put items within the tax bill. But we actually had to adopt a local law to allow Mrs. Delanoy to put something in the tax bill to describe how people could pay. And we did do that.
Yeah.
So there was something in the tax bill. Apparently you didn't get your tax bill.
Oh, I did. No, I said I got it, but my point was, it was a missed opportunity because the back of the page, other information could have been put on. Maybe there should be a little civil disobedience by the town and send something out and see if they really go after you when you're reminding people the DEC, the state agency, wants you to clean out your septic. Thank you.
Well, they're not going to arrest me. They're going to arrest Mrs. Delanoy. So we can try.
So, Rich, let me just comment on that. I don't actually get a tax bill because my taxes are escrow.
Right.
So, would it be allowable to be in the paid receipt? You're not actually getting the bill now, you're getting a stamped paid receipt. Is that
Well,
allowable
so
to put
there's-
something in that envelope
There's,
or
there's
no?
there's two parts of that. If somebody comes in and gets a paid receipt,
Well, you hand them a little flyer.
yeah, I mean, they could get a flyer. We can hand things out. I know Mrs. Delanoy is very busy while she's doing her taxes. I don't know if she would want to take that on, but Mr. Mayor is suggesting that something is printed on the back of the tax bill,
Not the tax bill, we send the instruction sheet.
No.
on
No,
the
on
instruction
this.
sheet.
Yeah, on this.
Oh, on the back
Yeah,
of what?
in the back.
I said that was a missed opportunity, that on the back of
Well-
that page, other words could have been printed.
I still go back to tax 1826. You can go look it up. It restricts what you can put in a tax bill. So,
Good notice for the Facebook page, though. Hey,
Yeah,
have you gotten your septic tank pumped out in the last 5 years?
I think too, just to comment real quick too, so I receive if I receive the tax bill in the mail, if I had a lot of other stuff in there, it might get kind of confusing and just too much stuff in there, might distract me from my tax bill. If there's stuff about other regulations, I'm already looking at my tax bill, maybe pissed off and now I got to do this. And now, I don't know if that's a good thing as well. Maybe if it went out with something else, but I don't know going out with the tax bill would be a good.
Well,
And
another
then what
thing,
do we add? What, is that the most important thing we put in it? There's a lot of things we could put in there. We could put in a blasting schedule for Peckham.
We could.
There's a lot of information we could probably get out there. So which one do we use?
So,
We can't put it all.
Years ago, the town used to do a newsletter, quarterly newsletter. Maybe we want to talk about going back to that.
you know, it is also, I go on a lot of school sites, or transportation, and it was very helpful is when you open them, if they have a banner, of what, they really need you to pay attention to for that week, going across the, their homepage, just, whatever, banner and open up Patterson, town of Patterson, and then, Peckham's blasting, remember, because I have to tell you the truth, I open the town of Patterson page all the time because I can never remember the phone number.
You're
So
also,
there was better there.
you're also going to be going out for a new contract for sanitation. Okay, the town of Southeast for years require the private sanitation company to send the beginning of every year a schedule of what they're picking up, what the days are, and included in that, the town has always added a page of information, contact information for the town and things like that. So one would hope when you're thinking about that next contract going out is that that vendor should be required to send out something once a year and the town can piggyback on it. It's another way of getting information out to the public. Thank you.
Anyone else wish to be recognized? Can I get a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.